Alright guys, so we are here and y'all have to, since I don't have an official thing, um, that's interesting. Okay, so apparently, I don't know. I'm still trying to get used to this whole thing with the streaming, thing. So, I don't know. This is definitely quite interesting technology, I will have to say. But anyways, um, this is RC Apologist, and we're just doing an after show stream. We had a conversation with Max of Red Pill Religion, and we discussed. So far, the only thing we really covered was a bit about Sola Scriptura and a couple of verses, and then we went on to the Apocrypha. So basically we talked about the issues about scripture and then a bit of tradition, the whole shebang-a-bang, the whole 9 yards. That would be a major, debating point between the, Protestants and the Catholics. And he even had said that he would like to come on in the future for a discussion on sola fide, and of course, this would be the point where it would definitely be like the next Radio Free Geneva. In honor of James White, I guess, the Calvinism topic would be brought up. So that's always fun. But yeah, as you can tell, he definitely, based off the testimony, he definitely does not appreciate the background that he came from concerning Calvinism and sola scriptura. And I don't know. We have one person in here, Luna, who is definitely seen what happened during that, because I noticed her comment, golly wally, I think was what it was, at some point during it. So I don't know how much she saw of it. But of course, then we have our other two people to just comment on other things in general concerning the discussion, and the highlights we'll go over if we need to. But in other words, this is just a after show of just chillaxing and just going over various things. So let's get this show under road and just chilling. So first of all, I want to ask Luna, since Luna saw what happened. Luna, what were your thoughts of the conversation and the discussion?
Mad.
You were mad, or you say meh?
He is mad.
Yep. He definitely had a bit of a frustration with Protestantism and sola scriptura. I mean, those were some words for sure.
Yeah, I've seen his kind a lot. That's all I have to say. I don't want to say anything mean. I don't want to say anything that may offend, but he needs maybe an ice pack on his ego.
Well, he has admitted, like, he's not here to win friends or fans or anything like that, so pretty sure he'd understand that one. So, but yeah, like, I mean, because that was the thing, I think, is like, I think he is humbled to a degree, though. Because
A
notice,
degree.
because
Yeah.
notice what happens at the end, because like he keeps talking all that about Martin Luther, and then, because he did at one point mention, and let me actually see if he did include it, because I remember when we went over the Apocrypha, we went over his comment that he made in my video, where he expounds that there was some
RC.
oh, I turned that down there, where there was some comment that was made about, yeah, so here's what he typed. He said, quote, yes, concerned as the Apocrypha canon, and there is no Apocrypha. There is only the Deuterocanon. There's no reason not to use and respect these books, except for hysterical anti-Catholic prejudice. It is not true that they are corruptions invented by Rome, which I never claimed, as all the most ancient branches to schism from Rome, going all the way back to the 400s, use some variation of Deuterocanon. They are good and useful to read and illuminate much of the biblical message. They also affirm Christ very clearly, though I don't see how, which is probably why the 10th century Jews removed them. So he claims that the 10th century Jews removed the Apocrypha, even though in the video that was made, I went to Josephus. Josephus did not have the Apocrypha in his canon. That's a 1st to 2nd century Jew, not a 10th century one. And then I quoted the church father, the bishop Melito of Sardis. Also, not a Jew, or 10th century. And then you have the other fathers that I mentioned, which were Cyril of Jerusalem, John Damascene. So you had them. So it's not about that was the reason why they are not considered a part of the canon. But he says Protestants were fools to go along with his post-temple Jews on that, but they let their anti-Catholicism get the better of them. So we learned that there was church fathers that affirmed no Apocrypha afterwards. And then when I showed, hold up, and Cloud Rider knows who I'm talking about here, David A. De Silva.
Yeah, David De Silva, yes. His
Yep.
excellent Apocrypha series.
Yep, and the book I have from him actually did a good bit of justice. I believe it was, because it was 18 that mentions, was it 18 or... That was some page along the line, or I think it was it was 17, because that mentions that the Septuagint wasn't actually a canon, and then 27 mentions Martin Luther's treatment. Martin Luther, the guy that, you know, the Protestant Reformation and everything, the treatment of the books were more positive. And so that's when he said, you know, okay, based off what you told me about Luther, I definitely have a lot more respect from Luther. When, remember, he said that was his thing, that he definitely had a lot of trash talking on Luther, and he said that Martin Luther was the son of perdition, the antichrist figure of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. But now all of a sudden he gained a little respect from Max after learning this, because he said he never heard that before. He never knew that about Martin Luther. And so, yeah, I think there is some way that he can be he humbles himself a bit on that. So, I mean, concerning to Sola Scriptura or the Apocrypha, Cloud Rider, what are your thoughts?
Well, from what I've heard, it seems like he's actually at least humbled him to new information, so that's good.
Oh yeah, definitely. To me, I mean, I'm hoping that the next conversation can get us somewhere, because that's the thing. I was like expecting that we were going to go over a lot of stuff, because all I did was just use one book, and the entire thing was just the Apocrypha book from Silva. I had Holman Illustrated Bible Dictionary, Christianity at the Crossroads, the 2nd century church history book, Dictionary of Early Christian Beliefs, and of course, like I said, every apologist's favorite, Evidence That Demands a Verdict by Josh and Sean McDowell. So, those were quite interesting. But I only used one of them, and that was about it. So, but yeah, like we should hopefully go into other issues and things. So let's just at this point then just chillax and talk other things. So what have y'all been doing? What do y'all want to talk about? What's up? Besides, of course, Luna is doing a web comic or comic dub kind of thing that she's working on.
Oh,
Did you say meow?
no. Don't talk about it yet.
Oh, sorry. I mean, what? Oh, I didn't say anything about a dub. I said that Ant-Man and Thanos theory confirmed canon.
Oh, no. Oh, wait, what? Like,
Yep, confirmed canon. That's how the movie's gonna end. Spoiler alert. Cue the credits. It's over, folks. It's the end game.
Dumbledore dies.
That too. Because yet, don't you know that Dumbledore comes in and saves Iron Man? Imagine that be the one thing that happens. It's like Dumbledore just like, ooh, calm down. He didn't die at the end of the Harry Potter. Another spoiler. He just came down and went to this other world. That's what happened.
World of Harry Potter puppet pals.
Harry Potter puppet pals. Oh my goodness. Dumbledore!
Oh, that was perfect!
Snape. Snape. Severus Snape. 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 Severus Snape. Oh man. That song that was stuck in my head for a while. And I don't know.
My mother is a huge fan of Harry Potter, and she's never seen Harry Potter Puppet Pals. Maybe I should film her reaction.
Oh, that would be something like to me the safest one would probably be what's that ticking sound? Because the wisdom.
Oh, sorry.
What? Sorry.
Oh, I thought that you guys were hearing like my keyboard. Sorry.
No, we hadn't heard anything until you clicked it to. I think it was like a unmute or press to talk thing. At least that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's from my Blue Yeti microphone. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. Oh, sorry.
Nah, you good. I got a Blue Yeti too. Or I don't know if it's a Yeti. It's a snowball. Blue snowball because it's a ball.
Yep.
So because I know Hunter has a Blue Yeti too. He's asking for a timestamp. Yeah, Hunter is asking for a timestamp because I didn't note that Sentinel Apologetics got attacked as a anti, like that they can't defend their faith without making up lies about the Catholic Church was what was pointed out, and he mentioned several names, one of whom was Sentinel Apologetics, which is the work of both Robert and Hunter Bailey of Sentinel.
Two friends of mine, yes.
Exactly. So, and I don't recall them making up lies about. They just, at least Rob, because that's where this originates from, is because of an article that was written by him, as well as the interpretation that was taken from Heiser about who was the rock of Matthew 16. And they basically just kind of went with that, I guess, being the whole thing, because I saw that comment, and yeah. But and because I showed Hunter that recently because he forgot about it. He didn't recall Rob posting that article. And when he saw, it's like, I was actually planning on making my own article about why I'm not Catholic, and him go with his thing there. But who knows? We'll see. Also, I finally watched One Punch Man.
Oh.
Was it good? Did you like it?
It was better than I thought it would be. Like, to me, like, I thought it was just gonna be everything gets all. It's not gonna focus on him, which that part I was right. It wasn't necessarily a big focus on Saitama. It's focused on Genos and the other heroes. Because how else are you gonna have like a drawn out story of struggle in a fight? Because every time that he comes in, he's just one punching him until he meets, the one person he just can't one punch, which makes it interesting, of course. But like, it was interesting because it was not just about, winning a fight and a solution. It was the fact that because he was so strong, there were ways that was being done. Some people were jealous and were trying to make him to be a villain. And other people started doubting the legitimacy of heroes. And it also showed the shadiness of other heroes as well. Like, some are just in it for fame and don't really desire to talk about saving the world or to, do saving. They just see it as a way of like, okay, I've done my part. I just want to have that fame. And so I can't. They already have confirmed season 2 is coming, and I can't wait for that. Uh-oh.
I cannot wait for season 2 of One Punch Man. That honestly was one of the funniest animes I ever watched.
Oh yeah. Because he's like, huh? What were you saying, fanboy?
Oh, I watched the ending of it, so I know what happens, but I did... With some animes, I will watch episodes and like still understand what's going on, but I will sometimes skip episodes.
Uh-huh.
I do that with like shows like My Hero Academy and some other shows.
Speaking of which, I also just finished up the 3rd season of that. So, yeah, I'm trying to get caught up on some of the good stuff. Though I'm trying not to watch much more. I've already like got too much on my plate. Only thing I'm trying to catch up on is Attack on Titans, because I'm going to Louisiana, mate. And
Congrats.
there is a panel that's been there that is just hilarious. They cosplay as in fact, let me actually see if they're gonna be there again this year. That they have the they dress up as the people from Attack on Titan, and they just do a Q&A of funniness. And like you just ask them as they're in characters. And I remember like I was there and I asked, okay, I forget what the character's name was, the nerd in there. Like she would like be so obsessed with studying Titans and everything. And at one point I asked, I'm at college right now, which I think I was still in college at the time. It's like, and I'm trying to learn how we're taking a biology course studying on Titans. And immediately, what was it? The person playing his leave. I was like, "What college do you attend?" And I was like, "I attend Wall University." But besides the point, we are trying to learn this. Could you explain to me in about 90 seconds the essentials of Titans? And so immediately just was like, oh, I have 90 seconds? Well then, let's try to knock this out, shall we? And just went off, and whenever tried to get too ecstatic, someone tried to calm her down. It's like, no, shut up. This is my moment. This is my 90 seconds. It just keeps going on, and I started something. And it was just like funny. In fact, that one was actually even recorded. Someone brought a camera and recorded, and you can hear me ask a couple of questions at that panel. And I remember there was this one wasn't recorded though. Someone brought, so there was this old lady that came there, and she had that, you know, what's that game called? Bean Boozled? Anyone familiar with Bean Boozled?
I'm familiar with the term bamboozled, but not the game.
I've never played it or tried any of the jelly beans, but I have heard of it and seen videos of people do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've tried it, and it's nasty sometimes. But Bean Boozled is where you land on it, and you have to basically do a Russian roulette of the beans. It's either for example, like if you have one, it'll say it's a brown one, and it's either chocolate or dog poop. So it's either one of those two, and you're gambling when it comes to the outcome of what is the real flavor of the bean. And so some lady comes up to the girls and says she has a request and said, I want y'all to try this Bean Boozled thing. And like everyone's like going, oh snap, they're all like going, what did we sign up to? And as the lady's because she's like in that them little scooters, and as she's driving away, she's just cackling. It's like, ha ha, the Bean Lady strikes again. Like
lady.
Yeah, because
the Bean Lady.
This had to have been like a mom or something. That's like 65 or 50 years old or something like that, and she was just like hilarious. Like, she was the character there at that moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Welcome, by the way, Ahmadi Muslim, 1889.
Hello. Oh, what's up, guys?
What's up, man? We just chilling, talking about the.
Oh, I'm just looking at my ceiling. I'm just tired.
You tired?
Yeah, some kind of goofy mood, and I can tell you guys are as well. Shalom alaikum, my Christian friends.
Shalom. Okay, so some of the other things that's going to be interesting about the con, by the way, and this is going to be day 1, by the way. So 8:30 p.m. there will be a thing called Whose Anime Is It Anyways? And as you can guess, for some of you that watched that show and loved it, it is basically Whose Line Is It Anyways, but with an anime twist.
That sounds amazing.
Yes,
That sounds awesome.
Yep. And we were you know, they originally last year they were just going to do it with themselves, and then I told them, you know, I was interested in the ideas because they were trying to catch some lines for the Scenes in a Hat game. And you know, I was like, you know, could I join? I was the captain of improv, and I'd done improv for several years, so maybe I could help out. And he said sure. And so when I joined, I even helped offer some game suggestion ideas that became a blast, like the film dub, where we just basically took scenes from different TV shows or animes and just dubbed over it based off a certain scenario. So we just had fun with that, and I got a message from them a couple days ago where they asked me that, you know, hey, could you join us again for Whose Anime Is It Anyways? Because, you know, last time was fun, last time was good, and so yeah, I'm gonna be helping out again this time with that. So this was okay. I have to talk about this because these guys are a blessing here. So they invited me. Okay, now notice, I had already, you know, made reservations, but though the money hadn't transferred to this room, so I could cancel it. They asked if I had made plans, and I said, yeah, but the payment hasn't run through. Why? Why do you ask? And they asked, and they said, well, we have a room if you want to, you know, join us. We have a you know, a 2 queen size, you know, room, and it's at the hotel where the convention is at. So in other words, like, they're staying at a place where they don't have to drive to go to it like I have to. Like, I get, okay, 2-minute drive, bap, we're here. Like I kept having to do. This is like there. These people, I don't know how much money these guys got, because they managed to get a good room at a good hotel, and they just invited me to bunk in with them. Now let me ask y'all something, especially from like Luna, who's familiar with the anime scene and going like with how the cons might be. You can imagine that's like a very good blessing in terms of like that one moment. That's like a very generous thing there.
Mm-hmm.
To just be
I can do.
So yeah, it was like I nearly broke down, honestly, whenever I got that. Like, I was goodness gracious, here I go. I was about to cry, honestly, when I got that. Because to me, no one's ever like really. People had tried offering things like that before, but these were people I didn't know. But these were people I did kind of know a bit and had been trying to be friends with more, and they just threw this out there like that. And I was just amazed. So definitely whenever we do the... Huh?
I'm happy for you.
Thank you. They're definitely gonna be in the video whenever we go out and start doing the stuff next weekend. So keep your eyes and your ears peeled for that, because it'll be fun. And who knows, maybe I'll even do some highlights of what we do from the whose anime is it anyways, because oh man, I'll know how to be ridiculous there. Definitely gonna make sure to like be a little what's the word I'm looking for, because they did say it's an 18 plus panel thing, and I always make sure to do what my improv troupe taught, which was keep it clean and never say no. So yeah, but there's some other stuff that's going on too. They're doing it twice because it was such a success last year. Karaoke. So you bet that this boy here is going to just shout the roof off with all that stuff there. May even do some musical stuff like I plan on doing Be Prepared from The Lion King, in all honesty. Like, I'm just gonna bring up my inner Scar.
Be prepared.
Be prepared for what? For the death of the king. What, is he sick? No, fool, we're gonna kill him. And Simba too. So all those people that are watching this, like, wondering, what has these people been smoking? The answer is life. So
I would sing along, but I don't think I remember much of the words.
yeah,
I apologize.
No, you're good. I had to definitely listen to it for a bit. I had to be careful though, because last time I did a thing where I was at a con singing a Disney song, I get hit in the back of the head by a weapon. True story.
I'm the only one that's not an anime fan. I've literally only watched 2 anime movies in my life.
Which were?
What are they?
Howl's Moving Castle.
Spirited Away, I assume, is the second one.
First one, I think.
Oh, so Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away. Both classics. Well, I mean,
Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke. That was the first time I was introduced to anime that had cussing in it. At least in the English dub of it. Because I found out eventually, like, Naruto had cussing like, the English dub wasn't bad, but if you watched, like, the Japanese, because we were, like, wanting to catch up on more episodes, it was like, oh, we're kids, and the first season coming up, but there's, like, tons of seasons already out. I want to see this, and then we look at it, and it was like Naruto saying, "I'll kill you, you mother effer." I'm like, whoa! What rating is Naruto over there in Japan? We were introduced to all sorts of words. But what was even more infamous was the time in the manga where instead of the hand gestures that you're used to seeing, Naruto just pulls up both of his middle fingers and says F off jutsu. Which to me sounds like if someone was watching the show originally and just didn't like anime and was not liking the story, just wanted to participate to make fun of the whole situation, would just say that to some Naruto fan. Like, to me, that's what that sounds like. But it's a reality. It's apparently canon. Canon, like the Apocrypha isn't. I jest there. What the? Oh,
What ninjutsus would you guys use?
Clone jutsu, shadow clone jutsu, so that way I don't have to do much work around the house. I don't know about the other two. Or, well,
I think art jutsu look like the art ninjutsus look cool.
the who?
Like the art jutsus.
The art jutsus.
Yeah. I think those look cool. I don't know how useful those are.
Creates a giant... Okay, so let me see some of them. Didora creates a giant bird of clay and then rides on top of him and flies rapidly towards the opponents.
I'll be back.
All right.
Just updating something.
Oh yeah, no problem, mate. No problem, mate. What the? Who called him? Who texted me?
I know the person who's texting you.
Who?
The person that is texting you.
Boy, you're pulling off some dad joke level stuff, man.
Oh, come on, I'm just trying to add to the fun.
True. Yeah. What's funny enough is like I would make that kind of comment. That's how. I think that's just a sign of me like being about to be 25. That fun fact, the 23rd of this month is when I'll be 25.
Oh, really?
Good. I
Yep.
turned 20 back in January. So you'll be 5 years older than me.
Yeah. It's definitely something. Personally, I don't like it. I don't like getting older because of the way my bones feel and the way that my hair looks sometimes now. They definitely say I have my dad's hairline.
It's a good thing mine stick. And my dad gave me beautiful hair.
There you go. So I'll definitely be attending this one because I'm at least a Avengers fan. They're doing an Avengers press conference at the convention. So people dressed up as the Avengers, and they're gonna answer questions and get us to learn more about how the team works. That'd be something right there. Like, if y'all had a question y'all want to ask the Avengers, what would y'all ask? Anybody?
I'll get back.
All right. What about you, Luna?
Actually have to go. It's getting really late.
Don't worry, I understand. I would agree. It's definitely getting a little late.
I also have to stay up late to draw for reasons.
Ooh. All right.
Alright. Well, I gotta go.
All right, well,
Later.
take care. See ya. Have fun. Because that's what it all is about. Having fun.
It's been like probably like quite a few years since I last watched the Avengers. I literally know like only the soundtrack song for it, and that's basically a song by Soundgarden.
Yep, it's good old Soundgarden. Yeah, I wonder like how they're gonna do that whole thing with the Hulk. I mean, if they could fit considering what's recently happened. Of course, the shadow casting of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Every single time, it's like and I don't know why. It's every year at every con I've ever been to. There's always a shadow casting of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Excuse me as I blow my nose. I am going to mute myself for the live streamers.
He's just gonna do a farmer's blow.
What'd you say?
He's just gonna do a farmer's blow. Don't tell anyone I said that to you.
Alright. So like always every year someone does the shadow cast of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I was actually in one of those once. Like I walked in the room as this happens. And the only reason I was because I had to get some sleep. I was there with friends, and I didn't drive my own car this year. And so when I'm in there, I'm waiting for him to come get me so that way I can... Because I also think I forgot my medicine. I left it at the hotel. And so this was an emergency. And so as we're doing all that, I had to wait on my friend to get out of there and get me back to the hotel. And I'm looking at it, and they're just pretty much the only thing they do, for some of those that don't know what a shadowcast is of this movie, is that they play the whole movie, and they just, have actors playing as the characters. So they're acting on stage while the movie plays on a big screen. So it's a reenactment, yet you also watch the movie. But you're not really watching it because you're also singing and saying some things that just random things to help go and make the things sound hilarious and funny. So let me see if I can actually pull some of these up of the Rocky Horror, because like they have lines and that you can either print, or you can have been there for way too long and just know what they sound like. Yeah, so right here is a Rocky Horror Picture Show audience participation script. So let's see here. Let me see what they got here. Because I'm not gonna do the main intro thing. Is just very vulgar. Let's see here. Okay, what was it? Let's at least get to one of the verses then. Okay, then here he goes. I know Leo G. Carroll was over a barrel when Tarantula took to the hills. Okay, so then you have that little instrumental, followed by this is when the crowd shouts in. So when Tarantula took to the hills, lick those lips. So they just shout that out of nowhere. That's where their cue is. And I really got hot when I saw where it's supposed to be Janet Scott. They say something that rhymes with Scott. You can figure out for that with yourself what it means. Said, fight a Triffid that spits poison and kills, which the crowd then just shouts, what the heck is a Triffid? So you're just shouting things out of nowhere while the movie's going on, and while the music's being played. And I don't get that. So that's also the one reason why I don't want to go to it, because if I'm watching a movie, I want to watch it. I don't want to participate in all this crazy stuff where half of the people are probably drunk on that. So let's see. But yeah, I don't think I see anywhere where. So I don't think they're doing the Attack on Titan thing this year, but they are doing Ask RC Apologist though on Sunday. So that's where I saw the end of the stuff that has definitely picked up my interest. Also, welcome Jay James.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Hey, I was playing a game and I did my presentation I'm going to be doing earlier in front of my mom and my wife as a critique, just to see what needs to be worked on. Overall, it was pretty good. Right. I just need to touch up on a few things.
Well, if you need to, because I remember you said something about recording, at least record yourself on your phone if you got an iPhone or a smartphone, because those will usually be good recording for that kind of stuff. And then if you have a slideshow presentation, that just put the audio over that in post-production.
Okay. I don't plan on doing a slideshow because I think pretty much mine does not involve a lot of visuals. It's going to be more based off of just what's more commonly known. I'm doing it based off of Kingdom Hearts, and I know the type of audience that I'll be talking to. So these are quotes that they'll be rather familiar with. So I'm not going to have to use a slideshow presentation. That's the main reason for that.
Understandable. All right. Well, we went over geeking ourselves out on the Louisiana Anime, and so we'll see how that turns out next weekend. Oh,
nice. Yeah, mine's gonna be. Let's see.
Yours isn't too far either, is it?
Yeah, mine's May 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I still haven't gotten the schedule of it. I sent an email earlier today requesting a music stand so I can put my notes on it and when the schedule for everything's going to be coming out. Because they said it would be sometime early May, so. Or not May, early April is when the schedule is going to come out. So I'm still waiting on that.
Right. Yeah, because they did the same thing kind of with the schedule for me. So, but one thing I guess we'll talk about then while we got some time on here, because this is the one thing we rarely have a chance to talk Islam because Marshall Mathers, aka Ayub, just likes to do drive-by claims without coming in the actual discussions or hangouts to back them up. We got one guy though in here that though is not considered orthodox by most. He still follows after an Islamic sect known as the Ahmadi, which for some of y'all, if y'all know who Nabil Qureshi is, that's what he was before he became a Christian. So that's something I think should at least be quite interesting. So I don't know if any of y'all might want to have any questions or discussions and go over that whole thing between, like, you know, Bible or Quran or Christianity and Islam. If y'all want to get that kind of thing going.
Okay.
All right. So, oh, you got a question for him or?
I don't know much about Islam.
So,
if what city do you live in? Just a random question. Reason why I ask is because if you're interested in learning about Islam, my community holds events called Coffee, Cake, and True Islam all over the country, where they just educate people about what Islam is about, what we do, what we believe, all that. So if you're interested, I can help you find one.
Okay. Okay, I mean, I wouldn't be against it at all. I'm definitely open.
Yeah, we're also pretty big on interfaith dialogue.
Okay, so I'm curious. What do you think of? I'm actually wondering about this. What do you think of the modern day Islamic reformers? Like they're trying to make Islam more moderate, so it's not so radical like how some of the like ISIS and many of the others.
Well, I'm gonna take the founder of my community, Mirza Ghulam Ahmed, who claimed to be the promised Messiah and Imam Mahdi. And speaking of him, RC and I did a debate on him last year on whether or not he is a true prophet. So if any of you guys want to check it out, it's on his channel. So anyway, yeah, it's good that Islam needs a lot of reform. Pretty much the whole spirit of Islam is dead. It's only there by name. Like, to me, you could see the signs everywhere. This is signs that it's the latter days. They're not even practicing the religion properly, and they're just being hypocritical. And some just go really extreme about a lot of things to the point that everybody else fears them. So that's why Islam is being ridiculed by everybody because of their bad example. So those who wish to reform the Ummah, I praise, because at least they're saying, hey, you guys need to clean up your act. and but pretty much the reformer that I know of, that what I think is divinely guided, is Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian. He spoke out against these extremists who really put a bad image on Islam. He basically said, why are you rising up against any governments that don't even oppress your faith at all? They give you the right to practice your faith, so what's the right? What gives you the right to fight them when they gave you your religious freedom? There's no reason that you guys should do that. So put down your swords, because the only way we defend Islam today is by the pen. Because this is the modern era. Books are spread abroad. And that's how people have, they share their views. They share their views by the pen. And how they discuss their differences.
Okay. It's actually kind of interesting. Now, yeah. I'm curious. What would you consider to be at least for Islam, somebody who would be a prophet? And I know you mentioned someone who you would probably consider to be a possible modern day prophet.
So, when a prophet comes, they have to be supported by signs. You know, you take Matthew, I believe, chapter 2, when Jesus came to this world. There was the Star of Bethlehem. And then when Jesus was on the cross, which, by the way, guys, we Ahmadis differ from the Orthodox view in that Jesus was taken up to heaven. Instead, we go by the swoon theory, where Jesus was put on the cross, but he did not actually die. He was just knocked unconscious. Anyway, I bring this up because there is, according to Matthew chapter 28, there is an earthquake after Jesus was put into his tomb, which was another sign of his truthfulness. And then you got Moses, where he shows the signs to Pharaoh. Both the Quran and Bible talk about these signs. The plagues, the river, the Nile turning blood red. Moses casting his rod before the sorcerers, exposing their deception. Signs of God. And then when Muhammad came around, I'll take, for example, I believe there was meteors, a lot of meteors falling around that time. I have to look that up. And then
okay.
I'd say the story of the moon splitting. That's a sign to show the Quraysh that he was truthful. When he took a pile of sand and threw it at the Quraysh, then came a sandstorm. I don't remember what battle that was, I believe, maybe the trench or butter. I'm not sure. But then Mirza Ghulam Ahmed, you have the plagues, plagues of India around the time. And of course, where he makes prophecies about his opponents, like Abdullah Atham, which RC and I discussed in our video. Yeah, basically, the whole universe is reacting to, like, obeying the laws of God. Basically, the universe supporting a prophet, bearing witness, every single atom in the universe bearing witness to a prophet and supporting that prophet. And then a prophet has to have all of his prophecies have to be consistent, and that prophet has to be known for truthfulness and yeah, that's all I have.
Okay.
That's what we define, like what a, or at least what I define as what a prophet is.
Okay.
I went a little deep, but
Right.
I mean,
Hey,
you get the gist, right?
Hey guys, I'm just gonna let you know I'm gonna head off to bed, but it was nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah, you too.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay,
You
man.
have a good night.
God bless.
God bless.
You too, God bless.
See you later,
God
James.
bless.
All right. So, do you want to respond
Oh,
to the?
that was Christian. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was confused.
No,
You're good.
So, do you want to respond to that, James? Because I did have one thing that was mentioned that I wanted to respond to.
Okay. So just one part of it, signs and wonders. Essentially, do signs and wonders have to follow a prophet, or is it more of, doggone it, if they make a prophecy about something, it must come true. Well, not necessarily it must come true, but what they speak must be true in everything that they say, essentially. But do signs and wonders have to follow them everywhere they go, or is this just something that is part and parcel with one prophet, but while not part and parcel with another prophet?
Basically, signs and wonders come with every prophet, to my knowledge, because the Quran makes that clear that, paraphrased, of course, we send prophets with signs to their people. That's what the Quran says multiple times.
Okay, then.
I mean, each sign might be a little bit different with a prophet, but generally all prophets have signs. It's just they might vary, and it just depends on what people they're going to.
Okay, then.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll let you go ahead, RC.
All right. So you mentioned the issue of that the more likely idea is the swoon theory. So where does this come about?
What do you mean?
So where would you get the idea that the swoon theory is here?
So the book that I got it from is Jesus in India, then the commentary of Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmed. This is where, and then maybe like the Quran itself, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the Quran, the two Ahmadians affirm this. So those are the sources you get from this.
Yeah.
but nothing that would be historical concerning the issue of Josephus and Tacitus, or the Gospels, or any other document that can be a primary source around that time period of Jesus, or shortly after his time.
Those other than the Gospels, the documents that you mention obviously don't mention a swoon theory.
Correct. And neither do
And
Josephus or
I don't.
Tacitus.
What's that?
And neither does Josephus.
All right.
Oh.
Sorry, just talking to someone.
No, I understand. But neither does Josephus or Tacitus also mention him either.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to go with the Quran being the earliest of the sources that you provided on that, and we go to Surah 4, Ayah 157 to 158, because regardless, and this is what we were actually gonna, me and Hunter of Sentinel were actually gonna tackle this from the perspective of the
Who's Hunter?
He's the, so you know Sentinel Apologetics?
No.
He's a YouTube channel that's started by Robert, who was known as General Han Solo for a bit on YouTube, but now goes by Sentinel Apologetics, and his name is Robert on there. And it was a ministry that was co-founded by Rob and Hunter, who is a friend of mine, and they work and operate this ministry together along with another friend of theirs, I believe named is Zachary, though I haven't seen much contributions from him in quite some time. Mostly Hunter due to the research and the input, as well as Rob. But other than that, me and him have decided to try to tackle this idea of the swoon theory, especially from the Ahmadiyyan's perspective, and going over some of the Ahmadiyyan sources. So that's why I'm looking over several of the material that has been presented that would go over it. I know we're going to mention one aspect of it about the crucifixion from the fourth caliph of the Ahmadiyyan Caliphate, that is presiding.
Tahir Ahmed.
Yeah. So there's a book that he wrote where he talks about the crucifixion, and there was a series of papers that are published about a conference that was held. And so we're going to be taking a look at some of those things about the swoon theory. But to me, let's say that that's the case. I'm going to grant that because to me, I don't think that swoon theory is in the Quran, but let's grant that it is, concerning that it was made to appear as if he died via swoon theory. The problem would be then that this would be a case of someone not knowing how crucifixion then works concerning the process, is that it was a 100% guaranteed way of killing people. So there is many, in fact there was actually a paper that was done from a person, a medical expert, that took a look at it, and she even showed the graphics of why the crucifixion most definitely killed Jesus. I don't think they commented on his resurrection, but just simply commented on the fact that Jesus was, how he would have definitely died, and how the swoon theory definitely has no weight on it. So one of the things is, of course, that you have that the scourging that was done. So before Jesus is put on here, he is scourged by them little chained whips, and he gets a ton of them. He suffers 39 lashes, so his back is very badly beaten and bloody. Next, there's the crown of thorns that's being placed, so adds up more of the injuries. Now, another one, the purple robe, which is recorded in John 19:5, where it says that Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. This doesn't sound like it's physically harmful, but when you consider that Jesus has undergone a terrible scourging and that his back had been ripped open, it was quite bloody and raw. The robe on his back would cause additional pain by rubbing against it. Additionally, as the blood began to congeal, it would congeal onto the fabric of the robe. When the robe was ripped off, more excruciating pain would result, and I definitely have experienced something similar to that. Crucifixion itself, arms, and with your wrists or your hand, as well as your feet, especially when you have to put the feet stacked on top of each other and then pierce, a lot of the pain that can go on there. So then comes several other things that's about that. That whenever they're done with the process, remember at one point as they're trying to hydrate him and everything, they're trying to make sure that he's alive a bit. And then eventually, one soldier pierces the side of Jesus. And two things came out: blood and water. This happens when the body, I forget what the term is, I think it's where it asphyxiates, and basically that water fills up the lungs. So whenever they pierce,
It's not water. It's some kind of bodily fluid where when so much stress is put on your body underneath so much extreme torture, your heart begins, if I remember correctly, your heart begins to pump up so much blood that it just starts having trouble. So a fluid is produced by the body. I'm not sure what it's used for, but it's some kind of substance that just fills up parts of your heart, and maybe, as you mentioned, lungs.
right.
And then it goes around your body, because it results from extreme shock.
Right.
It's been over a year since I last read it.
Yeah, there's actually the thing concerning that I'm looking at is from Dr. Bergeron in something called The Crucifixion of Jesus, Review of Hypothesized Mechanisms of Death and Implications of Shock and Trauma-Induced Coagulopathy. It's a very difficult term for me there to put in. But it talks about that the blood that comes out, because they go, and this would definitely interact a bit with the idea and the concept of the swoon theory. But basically, here's what he says, quote, hey
guys, I'm gonna head off to bed. Y'all have a good night.
You too,
All
man.
right, man, it was nice meeting you.
All right, you as well.
So it says
See you later.
a
See ya.
pleural effusion, unless it is loculated, settles according to gravity in a crucifixion victim. This would be in the anterior inferior aspect of the chest cavity. A pleural effusion would have arisen from heart failure or perhaps from his beatings and the blunt trauma to the chest wall. A spear entering the chest would first tap a pleural effusion, if present, having the appearance of water. Next, it would most likely enter the right atrium, causing blood to appear. This would cause immediate death by cardiac rupture had Jesus remained alive to this point. Therefore, the observation of blood flow from Jesus' chest wound does not mandate the conclusion that he was alive at that moment. So in other words, and from what I'm going to try to look up, is as far as what I'm aware, this is from someone that's not a scholar, but a doctor. So Dr. Bergeron, Jesus. Let's see, 'cause he wrote that book about it. Joseph Bergeron, MD. Yeah, so in his book, so Dr. Bergeron examines medical aspects of the Roman crucifixion and specifically of Jesus's death. So let me see, taking a look. He is a specialist in physical medicine and rehabilitation, years of practice experience, and an analysis of musculoskeletal injury and impairment lead to an interest in the crucifixion of Jesus and the physiological factors that caused his death. And he has authored a peer-reviewed medical journal article that came out on Jesus' death for the, quote, Journal of Forensic and Legal Medicine. So this was also something that was peer-reviewed in a medical journal. So when it comes to that, it's basically saying that the fact that they pierced it and the way that the Bible describes it, even like you mentioned, if it's not really water, it says it came to the appearance to them as water, because remember, we're dealing with ancient people that had different concepts of how they understood things. And especially when you saw blood and water coming out, that is the immediate sign this person's dead. So remember, one way they could do it is they could break the bones like they did to the other guys to make sure that they died and just lost breathing oxygen. But the other way to make sure and to definitely kill the person was to stab through the area where they did, that caused the chest to bleed out the water and the blood, which showed, yep, he's dead for sure, like 100% genuine dead.
But the book of John, to my knowledge, does not mention Pilate ordering the soldier to
Pilate?
Kill Jesus with the spear. He just the soldier just poked Jesus with the spear just to make sure whether or not he is dead.
Right, exactly. And so that's where I'm talking about the practice in general, and that's why they could do it to kill or they could do it to check. Because the one thing for sure was, if you did that and that happened, that killed them. If you saw the water in the blood, it was certain death. And that there was no way to avoid that once that whole thing was pressured and pushed into, considering any other sort of trauma or injuries that happened around that particular area, especially around the chest area or around the back of it.
So wouldn't that technically not be crucifixion?
Well, it would be crucifixion considering the issue of where the whole punishment is taking place and how they're doing it.
Okay.
They do that main thing as a safety measure in case they don't fully die, because most people will just die on there if they just give it out time and everything. But if they don't immediately do it, then they always have measures to make sure that somewhere within the system of crucifixion that it would be settled for the death.
At least this is my general knowledge. The Romans would often break the bones of the criminals who they crucified.
Yep.
I'm not sure with everyone, but this is just generally what I know. Because just my only thing is, why do that to the two criminals that were right next to Jesus, but not Jesus himself? Mirza Ghulam Ahmed says in Jesus in India, and I believe he bases this off of from what he read in the Bible, that Poati tried really desperately to save Jesus from death, so he kind of conspired to stop the people from breaking his bones. So instead, a soldier just stabbed him with a spear.
Mm-hmm. Right, but that's the thing. The spear would kill the person. If the blood and water, or what appeared as water, came out, as the text says, because the verse is, but one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forthwith came there out blood and water. John chapter 19, verse 34. So if he's, even let's say that he swooned and he passed out and he fainted, after all that stuff that he endured, the moment you do that, is no different than if someone's passed out, you slit their throat, or if someone's passed out and you suffocate them or cut off the oxygen supply. That's pretty much what they did. As a result, based off of what medical science reveals to us about what happens in this particular case, in this phenomenon that happens in the human body. And that's why that paper was a big thing when it came out.
Yeah, not that I am denying all of this. This is my position.
Right.
Is that through, I don't know how, but through natural means, God can make the impossible possible.
Through natural means.
My understanding, yeah. Because this is generally Ahmadiyya understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should do a little bit more research on the subject. I haven't paid attention to this area in probably in a really long while, at least from a medical standpoint. So I'm kind of out of tune, I guess.
Right, and I'm actually gonna see if I can get the.
I base my arguments generally from just the Quran itself, just from I guess a theological point of view, or maybe scripture point of view. I guess that's usually my main argument when I have debates with my Sunni friends,
right,
or enemies, if you call them, depending on who I'm talking to.
Right. So let me see.
But yeah, like I said, I'm not really denying what the doctors say in a normal situation. Like, let's just say that Jesus was, God forbid, false, and he was, in fact, cursed by the law of the Torah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's getting really late where I'm at. I'm gonna call it a night, guys.
Alright.
See you
Man.
tomorrow night, I guess, for Ask RCA.
Yep, I'll see you that
I
time
will.
too. Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
See you then.
Perhaps I'll make it there tomorrow as well. And maybe you guys might hear kids again.
We'll see, man. And by the way, I'll send you that at least somewhere to check a look at the stuff. I'll send at least an Apologetics Press article on it.
Alright, man. Cool.
But they're it's definitely on Amazon. Let me see what the price is. Okay, paperback for $15.01 on there, and it came out. Oh wait, are you kidding me with this one?
I kind of planned on getting all of Sahih Bukhari. I don't know how much it's gonna cost. Maybe $100, but I kind of sometimes I just like to read a book directly. Sometimes not all the time on my phone.
Right, and that's why I'm saying is like this one's definitely a one you definitely might want to buy from it, because that's what I'm trying to think. This one looks like it's actually new, so because this one's called The Crucifixion of Jesus. A medical doctor examines the death and resurrection of Christ, which so far from what I'm looking at,
I'm definitely interested in hearing about what they had to say about the resurrection, because
this is 2018 too, so this is new.
So this question always, comes down, when I think I even said this to you last year in the video, maybe not, but you can explain that well, yes, the scientific evidence overwhelmingly says that Jesus, in fact, died. But then you have to explain. Well, then how did Jesus get resurrected by God the Father? Then, because when you die,
Right.
your flesh kind of changes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's been a while since I last read this article, probably like a few years ago, or a couple. But I think like starting like 10 minutes after your death, just everything in your veins or in your skin just starts to change. Like the, I think the skin kind of hardens a little.
Right.
So then, just my question would be, how would all that just be reversed? I mean, you could just say, well, God the
God.
Father could do whatever he wants,
Right.
but then you'd also have to explain his laws of the of how he causes a person to live,
Right.
if the best way to explain it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I'm definitely not an expert on this subject. I have to look at both arguments on how they prove their cases.
Right. And if you're new to, there's the book, which apparently, based off what it says on Amazon, has a cheap price unless Christian Book is likewise selling it. So let me see. And why am I also still forgetting the dude's name? Wait, I sent you the thing just now, so let me get his name on standby. Joseph.
You know, that moment when you want to get, when you know the author but you just don't know his name.
Exactly. Oh, and I had this name there wrong. So, because that would be something else if his.
Yeah,
Nope.
take your time, man. I'm in no rush. Don't rush yourself.
Yeah, they don't have it on Christian Books, so it'd have to be on Amazon. But it's so far it seems like it's gotten some good reviews, and that one site that I sent you as well, that would cite from Bergeron. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're gonna call it quits here. So because like everyone had said, so it's late, and we did go at least a good hour over this. So thank you for your time, and I'm gonna get some sleep because gotta go to work tomorrow morning before we get to work on this. So thank y'all that have been watching, for tuning in for this silly nonsense. So until then, this has been your crazy RC apologist boy. Take care, everybody.